The girl only dipped her hand into the sea, but the next second something strange happened. Countless fish started swimming toward her. The greedy fishermen weren't surprised at all, because every time they took the girl out to sea, they always came back with a huge catch. It was her special ability that kept the greedy islanders fed. But that wasn't the only secret she had. Every morning long lines formed outside her adoptive parents' home. Anyone who touched the girl, no matter how sick they were, would be healed. Even a small wound would close up in no time. Because of her, the people on the island lived healthy, rich lives. One day Annie and her friends went to play in the mountains. They suddenly found a huge beehive on the ground. When Annie slowly approached it, the bees landed gently on her hand like pets. She turned to show her friends this magical moment. But then she saw her friend getting swarmed by bees. Seeing her friend in pain, Annie clenched her fist, and the next second all the bees dropped dead. Even Annie couldn't believe it. She told her friends to keep it a secret.
Don't tell anyone about this, okay? Junior, promise? Okay, I won't.
But after that moment Annie lost her powers. She could no longer heal the villagers. The fishermen barely caught any fish. The next day they brought her gifts, praying her powers would return soon, and hoping their old lives would come back. That night Lisa was helping Annie fall asleep. She noticed the cut from earlier was healing fast. She quickly called her husband over. He noticed that the scar on his hand was fading too. That's when they realized Annie's healing power had returned. Wanting to save their sick neighbor, Lisa rushed to share the news. The neighbor had been doing very poorly without Annie's help, but Nick stopped her, because he knew that once the villagers found out, they'd use Annie's power for their own gain again. But Lisa still invited the neighbor over, and after being healed, the neighbor leaked the secret. The fishermen showed up at Lisa's house angry. They found out Annie could only use her powers while asleep. That's when the neighbor came up with a bold idea. She handed Nick a bottle of sleeping pills, so Annie would stay asleep, and the islanders could keep enjoying her gift. At first Nick refused, but his wife tried to convince him.
It'll be just like visitations when she was a baby. She won't remember.
In the end, Nick gave in. That night, Lisa crushed the pills into Annie's water. Once Annie was fully asleep, they lifted her onto a stretcher and carried her to the shore. The fishermen had already set up nets in the water, and Nick carried Annie into the sea.